I'm going to demonstrate our Prfxn competition hairstyle for the 2013 and 2014 season. This is the style that all of the girls will wear for competitions. If you look at Presley's hair, she has a braid on each side and then a puff on top. She has a rubber band holding on to each one of those sections and then a high straight ponytail. So from the side, you can see her side profile that you can see the puff and then the tight braids on each side. You'll need just a few things, and I would plan for about 15 to 20 minutes to complete the hairstyle. The girls are going to wear their ponytails straight, so you may choose to do that prior to beginning the hairstyle, or at the end you can just straighten out the ponytail. You're going to need a brush to comb out the hair. And then you must have some type of a pick, or you can use a pen maybe for the straight edge, but something that's similar to this. They're 50 cents at Sally's. You'll also need, of course, her competition bow and rubber bands. First thing I've done is to comb out Presley's hair to make sure that it's straight, and also use my straightener. I'm going to take the straight edge or comb to create sort of like a half up, half down hairstyle. I'm going to start right behind her ear, and I'm going to make a part all the way across her head. Separate the hair from the line that you've created into a very tight ponytail. Now we're going to create 3 separate sections of her hair, 3 equal parts. I am going to start, they're going to be in thirds, so you're not going to separate from the center. I am going to go up a few inches right here and do the same thing on the other side. So it's essential that you make sure that the line. So now I have 3 separate sections, one here, one on top, and one on the side that are sectioned off. I'm going to take the top part of her hair and again separate it so that it doesn't get in the way. This side is going to be a braid. I'm going to have Presley turn her head slightly to the side, and I'm going to start with a very small amount of hair in the front here and get as close to her head as possible, just a small amount of hair. Okay? Maybe putting some gel if your daughter's hair has like flyaways in this area, but you want to get it very tight next to her head. I'm creating 3 sections of hair here. I'm going to start the braid before I add any pieces. Each time I add a piece, I am taking a tiny amount and adding it, and each time I cross, I'm making sure that I keep the hair very close to her head. I'm taking tiny sections, staying close to her head, and I'm pulling relatively tightly. Again, it's very important that you take small pieces for the braid. So it's just normal braid, and I'm adding a small piece every time I cross over. Okay, once I've got all of the hair, I'm going to continue the braid, and of course not grabbing any pieces additionally. I'm just going to continue the braid a few inches down her head. Now for girls who have shorter hair, you may just get to that point and have to tie it off because their hair is shorter, they have layers in it. But for Presley, her hair is a little bit longer, so I can stop here. The reason I've done this is so that when I put the rubber band on, I'm using the pink rubber bands to match our bows. It doesn't matter if I loosen it just a little bit because the braid is still there. So I'm going to grab where the braid meets the line that I created originally, and I'm going to tightly fasten the braid. Now, once I've done that, sorry Presley, I'm going to undo this original braid here. And when I'm tightening, be sure to keep it close to her head. Don't pull it out to the side when you're tightening. Pull it close to her head and tight back. So now in one of my sections I have a braid. I still have it sectioned off up here at the top, and I'm going to repeat this same process on the other side. Once you have each side then sectioned off, a braid on the left and the right, you're going to focus on the top section. Okay, this side, or the top is not going to be braided. It is going to be in a puff. So this is, there are different ways that you can do this. I think that the easiest way is to just simply, you may tease it a little bit depending on the texture of your child's hair. But for Presley, I'm going to grab again another pink hair tie. I believe that this is the most simple way. I'm going to make sure that the hair is loose, but I'm holding it tight with my hand, but it's loose up here. So as I'm putting the hair tie around this section of hair, I am going to make sure that I don't slick it back, so to speak. I continue to pull and create the puff, each time I tighten the rubber band. So I'll tighten it around a few times, and then I'll make sure that the puff is created. So you've got 3 sections now. Presley has her puff up here, and then braid and braid. Once all of those are finished, I am going to unfasten the hair in the back. Taking, at this point, your straightener, you may want to straighten her hair so that the ends are poker straight. Presley, put your head forward for me, sweetie. Thank you. Okay. And I'm going to, without pulling back on the puff, making sure that I keep that hair nice and high and fun, I am going to create a high ponytail in Presley's hair right behind the section where the puff was, or is located, excuse me. Lastly, Presley, she's going to put the bow on top of her hair, making sure that the tails are not covering too much of the braid. So you want it to sit up. At this point, if you need to use bobby pins to get it to sit up there, this would be a time that you may use them.
And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time. The best on the floor, the best give you more. You knew we were the best when we walked in the door. Now it's time to attack and we're gonna bring it back. The dance floor's yours, ladies.
Shake that.